Hello everyone. Before we get to the actual complaint, I just want to clear the air about some things. All statements made in these complaint generator videos are false. In fact, they aren't even the thoughts and beliefs of any real people. Hence the name of the series, Complaint Generator. All I am doing is going to a website, inputting a name, copying and pasting the text into a program on my computer, saving the file, exporting it to an MP3 format using Audacity, and uploading it with tunes to Tube. To prove that this is fake, I am generating a complaint about myself. If this still upsets you, I don't know what else to tell you other than you don't have a sense of humor. Now that we've gotten this out of the way, let's complain about Rich Beardsley. Shall we? My complaint about Rich Beardsley. If you are stimulated by new ideas and if you can think for yourself rather than simply accept what Rich Beardsley dishes out, I think you will find this letter of interest. Read on, gentle reader, and hear what I have to say. I know more about Trotskyism than most people. You might even say that I'm an expert on the subject. I can therefore state with confidence that if there is any fixed star in Rich's constellation of obtrusive conceits, it's that arrogant revisionism is widespread and growing stronger as it permeates school systems, universities, and the media. I say that because last summer, I attempted what I knew would be a hopeless task. I tried to convince Rich that most of his paraphrastic analects are thesis-less runarounds that leave the reader unclear as to both his point and his position on the issue. As I expected, Rich was entirely unconvinced. Although there are no formal, external validating criteria for Rich's caustic claims, I think we can safely say that my sources tell me that he intends to impose ideology, control thought, and punish virtually any behavior he disapproves of someday. Not on my watch. I am therefore calling upon all good citizens to honor and support those brave patriots who have forfeited property, reputations, basic comforts, and in some cases, their lives to examine the warp and woof of Rich's scare tactics. These patriots are our fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. They know that if Rich manages to fuel inquisitions, our nation will not endure as a civilization, as a geopolitical entity, or even as a society. Rather, it will exist only as a prison in which politically incorrect, foul-mouthed stinkers scrap the notion of national sovereignty. Rich alleges that his intentions are as pure as the driven snow. Excuse me, but where exactly did this little factoid come from? His success is just a flash in the pan. It is for this reason that I find it hilarious that Rich would have the audacity to even pretend that we should avoid personal responsibility. As we all know, the truth is that I would never take a job working for Rich. Given his tasteless, hate-filled deeds, who would want to? If my memory serves me correctly, he gnaws away at the pillars of our society as if he were a termite chewing on wood. It is no more complicated than that. I'll admit that Rich's rhetoric is occasionally decorous. However, his delusions are just as ripe and far more lethal than those of the perfidious OKs who insist that children don't need as much psychological attentiveness, protection, and obedience training as the treasured household pet. Time and time again Rich and his junkerism outfit have led us to disaster. To them I say no, not this time, not again. This time, I plan to make it known that Rich has so frequently lied about how people are pawns to be used and manipulated that some weaker-minded people are starting to believe it. We need to explain to such people that Rich's treatises would have more impact if they were more concise and organized. Instead of trying to be as clear as possible to get his point across, Rich seems to like bandying about all sorts of fancy terms that no one's ever heard and that completely diminish his point. Did Rich cancel his plans to deny citizens the ability to draw their own conclusions about the potential for violence that he may be generating because he had a change of heart, or is he continuing the same battle on another front? It would appear to be the latter. His morals are becoming increasingly repugnant. They have already begun to enslave us, suppress our freedom, regiment our lives, confiscate our property, and dictate our values. Now fast forward a few years to a time in which they have enabled Rich to establish a world government complete with a world army, a world parliament, a world court, and numerous other agencies that dismantle the family unit. If you don't want such a time to come, then help me dispense justice. Help me speak out against wild, longiloquent warmongers. There are several valid and obvious reasons why I assert that. Perhaps the most important reason is that Rich insists that lots of people want him to palm off our present situation as the compelling ground for worldwide metaglobalism. I don't know about you, but I have never met such people. I don't even know who they are. But I do know that Rich likes to stifle the free inquiry of science and the application of its discoveries towards bettering the lot of mankind. Such activity can flourish only in the dark. However, if you drag it into the open, Rich and his underbosses will run for cover like cockroaches in a dirty kitchen when the light is turned on suddenly during the night. That's why we must clarify that Rich's primary goal is to turn our country into a place where liberty is always under assault, where passion, the very stuff of life, is extinguished. All of his other objectives are secondary to this one supreme purpose. That's why you must always remember that Rich has nothing but contempt for you, and you don't even know it. That's why I feel obligated to inform you that he drops the names of famous people whenever possible. That makes Rich sound smarter than he really is and obscures the fact that his cajoleries are not supposedly meretricious. They are fundamentally so. In fact, because Rich's cajoleries have so much to do with forming the association in the public's mind between any orations Rich disagrees with and the ideas of hate and violence and illegality, one might even say that he claims that advertising is the most veridical form of human communication. Predictably, he cites no hard data for that claim. This is because no such data exist. The obvious implications notwithstanding, Rich insists that he is a paragon of morality and wisdom.